Joe, is there anything else you can tell us about the Mike Wallace situation? I mean, was there a confrontation or what happened?
I had a conversation with him during the game and made a coaching decision. It's really nothing more complicated than that.
And, acrimonious conversation? I mean,
no, not at all. It was just a conversation.
Did Mike Wallace say he didn't want to play anymore?
Again, I've never really discussed private conversations with players to anybody. Those are private conversations. He and I had a discussion, and then I made a coaching decision. And really, that's all it is to it.
Have you talked to him today?
Yes.
Can you tell us anything? Was it a clearing the air situation?
It was in the privacy of my office, and the door was shut, and those conversations are between me and him.
Has his status with the team changed going forward?
Nothing's changed right now.
Right now.
You know, nothing's changed that I know of. I don't think we made any roster moves, have we? So.
As for his future with the team, I mean, is it affected by what's happened?
Nothing's changed. Again, I haven't spent 1 second thinking about 2015 yet, Steve. So, I mean, we're taking a look at the film, watched the game film. I got meetings with every single player here the next day or so, and to get feedback, ways we can get better, ways we can improve, things I can do better, things they can do better. And so, but I haven't really thought about, you know, who's playing what position in 2015 or, you know, any of that stuff yet.
How would you describe your relationship with Mike?
It's always been good.
And has it been affected by this?
No, it's been good. It's been good.
Coach, what did you say to the team?
You know, I told them that the reason we're here is that we're here to make a difference on and off the field. And I told Mr. Ross when I interviewed for the job that we were going to get better week to week and year to year. And, you know, going 8-8 again, obviously, I failed my obligation and responsibility that I made to Mr. Ross. So I didn't do well enough coaching this football team to get him better. I started with that, and then I said, we're all in this thing together. It's certainly not about Joe Philbin. It's not the Joe Philbin show here. It's about the Miami Dolphins, you know, winning championships and playing up to our potential. And we got to find ways to improve and do that quickly. And so that was really the message, the main message.
Joe, when will you make decisions on your coaching staff and specifically Kevin Coyle?
Yeah, well, the process, you know, is going to start here soon. Again, today is really dedicated to the players, and then I'm going to sit down with, you know, the coaches as I do every single year. And, you know, I need obviously some time to think about things. Things are, you know, the season just ended, but you know, I haven't made any decisions about any coach for 2015. None of them. I mean, so.
What can you say about the way the defense played in the second half of the season? I'm sure you know the numbers and how they differed from the
Yeah, we have to do
first
better.
half.
Absolutely have to do better.
And how much of that falls on Kevin Coyle?
It's on it's on everybody, Chris. You know, this is again, football's a team game. It's on me. I'm in charge of the football team, so the defense isn't playing well. It's first on me, and then you know, the coaches, the players. It's a we operation, and we got to do better.
Stephen, Ross told us last week that he felt things were headed in the right direction. Do you agree with that overall, and what would be the things you'd point to support that?
Yeah, I think we were a better football team this year. It doesn't feel that way this minute. I mean, it doesn't feel like last night when I was at home and couldn't fall asleep that we, you know, at one point in the fourth quarter had a chance to tie the game. You know, it certainly didn't feel that way at 2 in the morning when you can't sleep. But you know, I do think we were better. I mean, until yesterday. But every game counts. Every rep counts. Every run counts. Every pass. You know, I don't think we had lost to a team that had a losing record. I don't know if that. You know, obviously that's not the case anymore. But I thought that you know, that was a positive thing. Things were headed in the right direction. But you know, we have to finish the season better. I mean,
I haven't studied it, but my sense has been that when your offense scored, your defense often gave it right back this year.
Oh, there's definitely some points in time where we didn't build off of the momentum. There's absolutely no doubt. Yes, I mean, again, yesterday we get a 10-point lead and we give up a 74-yard touchdown pass, maybe. You know. 3 plays later. Yeah, that's not work. You know, we always talk about talking. It's easy to, you know, for me to get up in front of the team and say, hey, we got to play complementary football. You know, and the offense is good. We need a 3 and out. And special teams, you got to do this. And there was a lot of examples throughout the course of the year. I mean, go back to the, you know, the first Buffalo game. You know, we took the ball down, make it 9-3. You know, then they return a touchdown. You know, and then we score a touchdown, make it 16-9. Then Spiller goes 55 yards, and they score. You know, I mean, there's a lot of, unfortunately, there's a lot of illustrations of those kind of sequences where things were not, you know, perfectly aligned like that. And I I mean, again, that's not.
Is there a common theme or thread that might be an underlying
Well, we're gonna have to
reason?
study that. I mean, I mean, I've noticed it. It hasn't been like we haven't brought it to our attention, but I mean, there's absolutely some substance to what you're saying, and you know, we just have to do. We got to do a better job. We're gonna have to take a look at that in more detail, you know, in the off season.
How much are the challenges of this offseason easier because you now have a real conviction about your starting quarterback?
Well, I don't know if the off season is ever easy, you know, but I certainly think Ryan did a lot of good things and a lot of positive things. I think he's headed in the right direction. You know, I thought his, you know, performance was better. You know, and that's always encouraging when your quarterback plays better from the previous year. But you know, the off season, you know, there's a lot of things. It's not about one position. It's about getting better as a football team.
Yesterday was not necessarily a good day, but overall, what were your thoughts on the special teams this year?
I thought there was, you know, a little bit up and down, kind of like our team. I think we kind of started slow, then I thought we really picked it up and, you know, made some impactful plays and did some positive things. I thought our, you know, our block teams really did a good job. Got our hands on the ball quite a bit. I thought that aspect of our game was good. You know, some of our coverage was, you know, I think probably just average at the end of the day. Our return game was, you know, probably more average than we'd like it to be.
Joe, I'm sure you know Mike Pouncey would like to return to playing center. What do you think is the likelihood of that next season?
Yeah, I mean, I really haven't given any thought to that, Chris. I mean, there'll be a lot of time to think about that, and certainly, you know, he's played well at two different positions, and we'll just see what's best for the team.
And Lamar Miller, has he proven that he's a #1 running back for this team and in this league?
I thought, again, I think the thing that's encouraging, and you know, I may have said this at some point in time, I don't know when, but, you know, I think his rookie year, again, I'm throwing out numbers, not exact numbers, but what do you have, maybe 150, and then last year he had 700 and change, and this year he got over 1,000. So that's, you know, that's a good developmental curve. You like to see that as a coach. You like to see guys, you know, be more productive, make bigger contributions as they gain experience. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm real pleased with what he's done. I'm not really into numbers of guys. He's #1, he's #2, and all that. I think he was productive. I think he, you know, contributed to the offense well, and I think he got better.
Did the Koemisi experiment work this year? Was it a...
Well, you know, again, not as well as I would have liked it to work. You know, again, part of it was, you know, unfortunately, you know, I don't have in front of me how many games he missed, but it was an ordeal. It was a little bit tough, and so when you're moving to a new position and you're missing reps, you know, it makes it a little more challenging. I mean, but I still believe in him. I love the way he plays the game. He's one of our more physical, tougher guys that we have on the football team. It's just, you know, for whatever reason, the injury bugs seem to grab him a couple times this year.
Cortland Finnegan has made no bones about the idea that he probably is going to retire. Has he shared that with you?
No, not yet.
So your defensive line, so active earlier in the season, and then they would go through stretches where they weren't as active late in the season. Do you have any answer for that? I mean, they were kind of up and down there late in the season as far as sacks and being disruptive the way they were early.
Yeah, I mean, again, I haven't studied this, Chris, but, you know, we played some good offensive football teams, you know, late in the year, Denver, New England, Baltimore. I think, again, I don't know how the stats ended up this year. You guys, I haven't looked at it. You guys, you've got more information than I do at this second. But, you know, those are, you know, 3 good offenses. But, I think it was, you know, kind of a little bit like how we played overall. We got to do a better job. I don't think it was one position. I don't think it was one guy. You know, it seemed like at times we took turns, you know what I mean? Unfortunately. But.
If Bill Lazor's back and you've got a system in place, how advantageous is that to have your players more familiar with the system going into the beginning of 2015?
Yeah, I think it helps both. I think it helps both the staff and the players. So I do think it's a plus.
And how about Ryan specifically?
Yeah, I think it helps. Yeah, I do. I think it helps quarterback. I think it helps everybody. You know, because you get a chance now to, you know, again, step back a little bit, take a look at, you know, again, I don't know how many snaps we ran this year. What do we have, about 1,000 or 1,100 or something like that? You know, a lot of plays, and you get a chance to study them, and now Ryan and, you know, Bill and Ben and Zach can get together and watch the third downs together and watch all the 55 coverage, what we call, you know, those specific things, and, you know, how our pass concepts marry up to different coverages that they've faced. I think that's all beneficial.